So I was listening to Gerald Salente earlier, and it was his show from Friday. And anyways, he was talking about Ukraine and Russia and things like that. And I can't remember exactly what he said. You have to listen to it for yourself. But he said something, and it got me thinking about this clip from, you know, what, like, yeah, 2008. I mean, so freaking, what's it now? Yeah, like fucking 14 years, 13 years, right? Anyways, this pretty much sums up everything with Russia. And, you know, and you want to talk about freaking censorship? This covers that too. You know, this is before fake news was even a thing. You know, this is when we called it Operation Mockingbird. You know, I mean, we still call it Operation Mockingbird. Freaking fake news is freaking, you know, I mean, yeah, it's, anyways, on with it. Freaking, this happened in our lifetimes, you know, do one's history. And keep in mind, I'm rebuilding my freaking channels and stuff, so I gotta go through, you know, like certain things I remember.
12-year-old Amanda Kakoeva holds on to a doll she bought in South Ossetia, one of few things she was able to bring back after fleeing the conflict zone. She says it was a long and frightening journey back home.
I was afraid because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I was scared for all the people that were left, because when I was leaving, I was scared for all the people that were left behind.
Amanda, who lives in the San Francisco area, was visiting her relatives in South Ossetia for the summer. On the night of August 7th, she watched in horror as the war broke out. Amanda spent the night in her uncle's basement. The following morning, they fled to North Ossetia and eventually Moscow. But they would have never made it to safety if it wasn't for the help of Russian troops, Amanda says.
They helped us.
Pardon me, doll. And yes, this is Russia, you know, on television. This is our team, right? It is going to be propagandized more, you know, it's going to be leaning towards Russia more. But this is when RT was really kind of developing and everything too. So they were, you know, like journalism, like, that's why people respect, you know, like RT has become its thing, is because, you know, they, I mean, of course, you know, they sell out and stuff, but, you know, through influence and, you know what I'm fucking talking about.
The following morning, they fled to North Ossetia and eventually Moscow. But they would have never made it to safety if it wasn't for the help of Russian troops, Amanda says.
They helped us out a lot, and they came when we really needed help. So I just want to say thank you to them.
A part of Amanda's story that the American media has repeatedly left out. Upon her return to the United States, she and her aunt Laura gave several interviews, including this live appearance on Fox News.
I want you to know to whom to blame on this conflict. That's Mr. Saakashvili, who started this war, and Mr. Saakashvili, who is aggressor. And 2,000 people were killed in one day. And that's what I am against.
I would never cut you off. Unfortunately, a commercial break will take us there in 4 seconds.
Yeah, I don't want to cut you off. Don't want to cut you off. Don't want to cut you off. Censorship. Yeah, exposing the real truth.
Yeah, I know that you don't want to hear that.
I'll be right back with you. Stay by.
And after the commercial,
we can blame only one person and Georgian government. I'm not blaming Georgian people. I'm blaming Georgian government and
fucking, she's a rock star. She doesn't give a shit. You know, and that's like, you know, what makes this whole thing, like, they're telling the story, you know, like, I mean, we're seeing it firsthand what's going on here. You know, like, why is this side of the story not being told? Is it right? Is it wrong? No, we're freaking showing it. And these, I mean, like, look at their freaking attire and stuff. They're suave, right? I mean, it's not even still a word, bougie or whatever the hell. I mean, Gucci, I don't, like, they got that, well, they're not really blinging and stuff. Freaking, they just got freaking awesome fashion sense. But you know, like they're not in it for the money and stuff. Like,
He has to resign.
Well, that's certainly what the Russians want. If I had more time, you would get it, but I have but 5 seconds. Thank you both. The young girl's a hero in San Francisco, and understandably, there are gray areas in here.
It's not a gray areas, guys. It's a genocide.
Laura says she's not necessarily pro-Russia. Her mother is Georgian and her father South Ossetian. But she simply wanted to tell the truth about what her family went through.
I want to America know that Russians didn't start this war.
Laura says she prays for her family and hopes there will be no more bombing.
I mean, maybe the people are paid off, though. We can't be that naive, right? We can't be that naive. Nonetheless, the story being told here, you know, just look at this. And like this, that's probably like the best way to pay attention to the news anymore. Is it's film. It's a film. It's not a movie. It's a short flick, right? That's a short flick. Something used to captivate our attention, to tell some of the truth, to create the suspension of disbelief, so that they can, so our minds are open and they're able to implant their ideas into them. And that's how people become brainwashed. I mean, that's why the news is set up in a certain way. Operation Mockingbird, government infiltration of mainstream media, mixed with MK Ultra. Well, I think that's just kind of like what I described here. It's not all about freaking super soldiers, and I mean, it's freaking way simpler than that. It's understanding neurology, human neurological systems, like, and it's just the human body.
Amanda's father is currently in South Ossetia to make sure his relatives are out of harm's way. The family says everyone is fine, but they will only leave their homeland if the fighting resumes. Amanda hopes to see her father soon again. And despite her ordeal in South Ossetia, the 12-year-old girl would still like to return there one day. But the world she left behind will never be the one she once knew. Anna Moya, RT, Walnut Creek, California.
And see, like it's a story. It's a story. There's the publisher, which is RT. Then there's the journalist, and then there's the okay, well, who's playing the roles? How we setting this up? And the thing is, switch out people for a vehicle, and and you can make it political. I mean, it like the. It's anamorphic. I mean, I think that's the appropriate word. Hold on a second. Let me make sure. Denoting or relating to a distorted projection or jarring that appears normal when viewed from a particular point or a suitable mirror or lens. I mean, I guess in a way. I mean, because we like a holographic universe and everything. You look at things from a different angle, like it changes shapes and things of that nature, like because it's distorting light and all that. But I think what I'm trying to polymorphic. Yeah. Occurring in different forms, in particular with reference to species or genetic variation, polymorphic fish species. Of a feature of programming, allowing routines to use variables of different types at different times. So that's how I'm seeing it. Oh man, like it's just it's just weird how fucking things just happen, and that's. Yeah, I mean, I'm sad I missed my other channels, or like I lost my other stuff, but hey, freaking, sometimes we just shouldn't build our houses on the beach, right? Take care, be safe, be kind, stay strong. I love y'all.